Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out while I didn't turn the microphone button on. Today we're doing something different. Today we're having fun. We are running the live stream and I'm doing it right from the browser, which is a little different for me. And I'm recording this on my phone for the audio. I am excited to talk today about contribution. And if you're new here, this is a show about mindfulness. We talk about recovery, we talk about addiction, we talk about overcoming adversity. These are these are very sensitive topics, especially in the age of 2020, where it's been a pretty challenging year. I'm not going to lie. It's been very challenging and there's been a lot of unique circumstances that have come from 2020. I'll just say that much. And so today's topic is about contribution. And from a contribution standpoint, sorry, I wanted to define what contribution is. And it sounds weird to say that, but a contribution is the act of giving. It's the act of, I don't want to call it measurement, where it's contribution is not the measurement of loss. If I am sacrificing more than you, that should not be the measurement for contribution. So when I say what is contribution, if I were to give you something and it's something that you didn't need, would that be a measure of me contributing to you? If I was supporting you in a way that you did not need support in, am I contributing to your success? If you needed something specific and I happen to be the one that has an excess amount of that thing, is it considered contributing if I'm giving it to you or helping you? Then yes, that would be in my mind, from my perspective, me contributing to you or contributing to your success. And so when I talk about what is contribution, and what I mean by that is I should not be measuring or keeping a tally or a score when it comes to contribution, because the act of contribution is to be selfless. When I think of contribution, I think of just genuine, empathetic, caring, genuine. I want to say, I want to like an endless amount of caring where there's not a limit. Like I'm only going to care so much and then I'm going to stop caring. When I think of contribution, when I think of caring, I think of those as synonymous. I think of those two words as interchangeable. So when I'm imagining somebody that's a true contributor, I'm thinking of flashbacks of like the Dalai Lama or Deepak Chopra or Tony Robbins. These are heavy influencers in my life that I feel, even though I've never met them, that they've contributed to my success. Like they've had an impact on me. There's been a point where there's been some sharing from them that has been passed on to me, or I've absorbed it, or I've needed it, and I feel and I measure that contribution despite never meeting them. And so when I say what is contribution, that doesn't mean I need to open up my wallet and then physically hand you a contribution. While that is one form of contribution, that is not the total amount of contribution. Because in the Tony Robbins example and the Deepak Chopra example, I've never met them, but I feel they've had a huge influence on me. So I feel that that level of contribution can still be lasting and impactful even without meeting somebody. So when I look at what contribution is, it is the act of caring and genuine giving. When I look at how do you measure contribution, kind of like how we always say, how do you measure success? And for the longest time, I thought in my heart of hearts, I thought that contribution was only I like success for me was only going to be I could only achieve success through certainty and I needed to have, like, I needed certainty, and therefore I needed to have things, and that having those things would provide me certainty. Owning certain things would provide me a certainty, and that would then equate to happiness. And for the longest time, I had this inner conflict where no matter what I had, no matter how much more I consumed, or no matter how much more I had, especially from an addiction standpoint, especially from an alcoholic standpoint, no matter how much I consumed, or no matter how much I had, or no matter how many different expensive alcohols I had, or no matter how many iPads I bought, it didn't provide me any sense of certainty. It didn't provide me with any sense of significance. And so, significance and certainty is what I believed I needed in my life. And I believe that those are what equate for me, that would equal success. And it sounds bananas that it took me years to come to the realization that that's not what recharged my batteries. That's not what refilled me, or that's not what contributed to my success. And when I look back in reflection now, and in what actually provides me with that level of certainty isn't things at all. It it sounds weird, but through the act of giving, through the act of caring, through genuine empathetic caring, that ensures in me that I'm significant through caring from somebody else. I may not know who I don't need to know these people specifically, but I can still pass on that act, and I can still contribute. I can still care. I can still be we've talked before about being an observer, where just being observing of somebody that's being grateful has an impact on you as a person. And if you see somebody sharing that gratitude, that has an impact on you and them and the person sharing. So when I flash back to significance and certainty being the opposite of what I needed, and what in order for me to feel that sense of gratitude, in order for me to feel that sense of success, to recharge my batteries, was through caring, and through like feeling grateful, but also through contribution. And when I say contribution, is through giving, through empathy. And I didn't measure that empathy. I didn't measure that contribution. I just thought, if I have an opportunity to give and give back, people have been super patient with me throughout my recovery, throughout my addiction. And there's been some pretty big sacrifices I've had to make along my journey. And there's been challenges that I've caused and created, and I've had to make amends for that. It's a process, like it's a never-ending cycle where there's always growth. But once I shifted my perspective from trying to gather things and stuff, and once I shifted my focus away from I didn't need to feel significant through certainty, that I could feel a sense of like through giving, through contributing, that gave me a sense of pleasure. That gave me a sense of like a foundation that did not exist on things, and I didn't have to count on a physical plateau, if you will, that it would be something that I could create, or almost co-create throughout my day. I didn't need to worry if I wasn't going to feel certain, or I wouldn't begin to doubt if I didn't have that sense of security, because I could create empathy. I don't want to say I can create caring, but I could create an opportunity where I would then care, and I could share with somebody and make them feel thankful, and then express my gratitude, and I could help contribute to them in their success through those acts, through those means. And it sounds silly that the act of contributing would fulfill me more than people, places, or things. But when I looked at what success meant for me, I could tell you what success was not for me. It was not trying to hoard all the iPads in the world. It was not trying to hoard all the expensive alcohols in the world. I chased so much in the wrong direction. Have you ever here's an analogy. Have you ever run in the wrong direction, or have you ever climbed up the wrong ladder? and then you get to the top of the ladder and you realize you've just climbed up the wrong ladder, or you get up to the top and you forgot the important tool you needed, or you run all the way to the store and you forget your wallet at home. Like there's moments where I feel like I've run in the wrong direction, and it might feel silly for a minute. It might feel silly for 20 minutes as I walk back to my house or walk back to the car or what have you. But at least I have an opportunity now to shift that and to make the next 20 steps I take in the positive direction, in the right direction. So while I might have invested a lot of time, effort, and energy and money trying to buy all the iPads in the world and consume all the alcohol in the world, that never fulfilled me. That never filled my spiritual void. That never contributed to my success. And when I look back at what did contribute to me the most was contribution through caring for others, through empathy, through giving endlessly and not having to worry about measurement. I just speaking personally for a minute, I was able to attend a virtual meeting today, and it was a meeting where I got to see a bunch of people that I haven't seen in a while, and it was really nice and recharging, and I felt really connected. And there was a person in that meeting. The whole point of the meeting was to celebrate somebody, and for me, it was really important to see them because I was able to when you've been impacted so much by somebody and they've created an impact on you where they've genuinely shifted your moral compass and they've carved you in a new direction where you weren't facing that direction before, but thanks to their impact on your life, you're now pointing in a much more northern direction, if you will. And this is where, in that meeting, was that person for me, where I was able to then see and express and share. And it was really awesome to be able to connect with that, to be able to catch up to that, and to let them know how much they mean to me and how much of an impact they meant to me, and how I'm much more of a person now, thanks to them and their caring and their giving and their empathy and how much they've given. I would say sacrificed almost, but from their perspective, it's just been genuine contribution. They've contributed and they wouldn't tally how much they gave. And now this was their moment to shine, where that meeting was just all about them and celebrating them and lighting them up like a Christmas tree. It was really awesome to see all the smiling faces and everyone laughing. And it was a really heartwarming moment for me. And I felt moved and I wanted to share that it can leave a legacy where even though you're not connecting with somebody all the time, they're not a part of your day-to-day life, it doesn't mean that through the act of contributing, through the act of caring and genuine, like not measuring how much you've given, and just endlessly giving and caring and supporting people. And again, it's not supporting people in ways they don't want to be supported. It's actually fine-tuning the message, fine-tuning what they need to hear and supporting them along the way, along their journey, and lighting them up like a Christmas tree. In doing that for so long, that creates a legacy of your own. And when I think of contribution, on the short term, I'm going to call it contribution. But on the long term, I would then call that a legacy where what you're leaving behind and what you're creating is you're supercharging 20 other people around you who are also being developed and who are also growing, who are also being supercharged. And those 20 people are going to go supercharge another 20 people. And it just reciprocates and it just propels forward all from the act of one person. So it sounds silly that one person can have such a lasting impact through one small act of contribution, but it's the continuous effort of contribution that can then create the legacy, that can then outlast your experience with them, that can then show that there's a lighter path, that there's another way. And I think we all have that person. We all have those moments where we all have that support, where we hear it from the right person at the right time, and we it just connects with us in a way we weren't able to be ready for, or we weren't in addiction. We call it able, willing, and ready. Where somebody can have a conversation with me, but if I'm not able, willing, and ready, that's just going to fall on deaf ears. And even though they're my ears, I may not have been ready to have that conversation, to be pushed in the right direction and to be supported to the umpteenth degree. It felt heartwarming to connect and to see that person, and just speaking about that meeting that I went to today, where it was really nice to be able to go and hear all the laughters and see all the smiling faces, and to be able to hear how each of those people have been supported by this one person. And it was really awesome, and I felt really cool to be a part of that meeting. And it felt really cool that I wasn't the only one in that meeting that felt supported or genuinely cared for. And that is the legacy, and that is amazing. And that's where contribution starts. And the lasting legacy is what can be left behind. Kind of like the Deepak Chopra example, or the Dr. Wayne Dyer. These are all heavy hitters in the world, but they've created like an empire of contribution. And it's amazing what we can do when we do it together and we start small. And it's challenging at first. It's never easy. But it all starts in recovery. We call it one step at a time. We only have to do it one day at a time. We don't have to do the whole thing all at once. You don't do the whole legacy all at once. That's crazy. But if I take this one opportunity with this one instance, with this one person in front of me, carve that one, knock that out of the park, work on the next one. Baby steps. Awesome, my friends. Today's been I really enjoyed chatting with you guys about contribution, about sharing and creating a lasting legacy. I wanted to show you, I don't have any overlays on this one today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show on my screen. I'm going to flip over. Okay. If you check out the link below or in the browser, it's got sobriety.live/now. And this is a link to the blog post, and that's the transcription of this video or this podcast. Or if you want to watch the video, if you go to sobriety.live/now, this will be the links to where the videos are for both Facebook and YouTube. Or if you're a podcast listener and you want to catch up on past episodes, you just want to listen, the link to the podcast is here. Or in case you want to reach out to me and you have ideas on future show topics, in case you're a messenger person or snail mail, or if you're a blog person and you just want to catch up on blogs, or you don't have time to listen, but you want to read, I've got the blog links here. And again, those are just the transcription of these videos. So we've got it in written form, we've got it in audio form, and we even have video form. So whatever form you consume your content, we have the Outstanding Life there for you. In the meantime, friends, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy sharing with you and connecting with you. If anything I've said has connected with you, let me know. Or if you have another point of view, I'm interested in hearing that as well. In the meantime, friends, you take care, you have fun, and I'll catch you in another episode, all right? All right, my friends, take care. Bye-bye.